So I'm back out here finally, getting around to framing up some more of these hoop pins I'm going to use as brood pins. And I thought I'd show y'all a little bit more about them. This is the door I cut into them. I'll leave this top row of the cow panel, which is at 50 inches tall. And I cut down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th rung down I'll leave. And then I'll take another piece of wire and I'll wire it in and hang it like a doggy door flap and leave it sticking down a bit over this so it flaps closed. And that way if the chickens fly and hit the door, they can't knock it open. And when I go in the pen, it closes behind me. And on this pen, I'm wiring it all together with this 14 gauge electric fence wire. But on this pen we had some 12 gauge wire that we decided we'd use for the bottom, but I didn't like that. It was too hard to wrap it around. I didn't feel like I got it tied enough and secure enough, so the wire will last longer before it rusts out, but it's not as secure. And it also takes a bit longer to work with it, and I like something that's quick and easy. When wiring these pins, I only do what's required because this will all be covered in 2x4 weld wire and hog ring together, so it will be even sturdier. So there's no reason to go overkill when wiring the frame together. So from the front panel down, where it connects to the sides, there's only 4 points. And you can see this point, I come in 1. You can see how they pinch them together and wire them. And then we wire here, here, and at the very bottom. And I'll show you the trick to making the in-between wires that hold your hoop the same width. We roll our wire out the length of this front panel. This front panel is 7 foot. And we wrap it around. And then I cut it out here somewhere and wrap it around here. Pull it tight, as tight as you can get it. And then you can just take these off. Try not to bend it out too much. And then you have a point to where when you wire these hoops and run it across, that's the exact length you need, where the curve in the wire is. So you can literally just pull the panels together and loop it, and on this side, arch your panel up and pull it and hook the wire wherever the hook is and wire it around and catch both of them. And you can very easily wire your hoop up like that. Here on the sides, I even go skimpier with how far up. I only do 2 loops here on the side and then 1 in the very peak. And then I'll show you to keep these panels from sliding and one of them sticking down lower than the other. After I get everything wired together, I come in here with a milk crate. Now, let's see, pick my hoop up and slide my milk crate under. And then I get these, I hold these as close together as I can, wrap a loop around, and then wrap some of each side. Now there is a little bit of a gap, but that's not enough to matter. You just don't want one sliding way down than the other, because if you have uneven ground and the only wiring you have is a couple spots, your panels will slide. And so that keeps them fairly even. Let's see, this one's closer. You can also see how this center wire, literally where my curve is, I hook it and then I just wire it together. Literally a milk crate near the center, and you can get nearly a whole side. And you can just come and pick it up and sit it down. Simple as that. So yeah, here's another look. You end up with one of these rungs. I'll zoomed in too much. Give me a second. You end up with one of these rungs that falls nearly dead center. And so you can just line them up and wire them together, and you can wire them in such a way where they don't slide, so you can keep the spine of your pin pretty straight. And then when building these pins, I go ahead and I cut my end pieces. Cut them 7 foot, or roughly 7 foot. It's 11 squares wide is what it is, because it ends up being 12 squares on each half, but you end up falling with one of these in the center. And so if you cut, you either have to cut on one side or the other, and so you end up a pound shorter. So I take a big gap out of the center, 11 squares wide, and I cut my panels first. I cut my door first. You don't have to, but it makes it easier when you have to get in and out of the inside to go ahead and have that door done. And I lay my panels out flat. Now I lay all 4 out flat, and I do my ends first. And if you're doing this by yourself, you want a stake or something, so you can put some stakes in the ground so you can slide your cow panel and kind of pick it up and push it and make the arch. If you got a helper, then you don't need that. And once you build one pin, you can use that pin to help you build the next. You can see, like, I'm pushing this up against this one, so my panel don't go flying out, like it has something holding it when I push my hoops up. But see, I push my hoops up, and then these wires that I've cut and have hanging here, I unhook them. I go ahead and lay them inside of here. And so I push my panel up, wire it together. Like I said, it helps to have another person, but if you don't, go ahead and like pre-put some like stakes. You know, rebar stakes is enough, the right width. And then when you push your hoop up, you can sit it on the other side and the rebar will hold it while you're wiring it all together. But yeah, that's I'm going to try to do a bunch of videos on my build process and little tips and tricks on how to build these pins, and I'll put them all together in a playlist when I'm done, because I'm sure there's some things I miss that really don't show quite good enough on video, and so I figure if I just do several different videos while I'm building these and show some ways I do it that could be helpful, because you could just look at this pin and build something pretty close, but there's I've learned over the years building these that there's little tips and tricks and little easier ways to do things. So I'm gonna keep making videos of these. I'm gonna keep making more of these, probably multiple every year from here on out, until I get my yard filled up with them. Yeah, and when I start covering them, see, I only have this one halfway covered. I'm gonna cover them completely. When I start covering them, I'll make a video on that, on how to cut this plastic, because you have to burn it. And I'll show you how I attach it. Now, you don't have to use that plastic. You can buy big canvas tarps or whatever and put on it, but I like the way the plastic looks. That plastic lasts for a very, very long time in the sun. I think it's rated for like 8 to 10 years in the sun, and it definitely lasts that long because I've used some in the garden in the past. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here. And stay tuned for more. When I get all these videos done, I'll make a complete playlist so you can watch through it. I hope this helps somebody out there building some better pins that are stronger and will last longer.